Hello everybody, my name is Samantha Susai and I'm reporting my week-long observation for ATM 101 between the dates of September 11th to September 15th, 2012. My observation station is in the middle of Farmers Loop Road, found north of Fairbanks. I've tried to do my observations in the mid to early afternoon, ranging from 11:45 a.m. to 2:45 p.m. My week observations are being compared with the National Weather Service location at the Fairbanks International Airport, PAFA. My first day of observation started September 11th, 2012 at 12:24 p.m., where the current temperature was about 52 degrees Fahrenheit, 11 degrees Celsius, with a barometric pressure reading of 1,015 millibars. The wind was at a Beaufort scale of 5, with some small trees and plants swaying in the wind. There was no cloud cover or precipitation at my time of observation, and the mountain range to the south of my location was very visible. On September 12, 2012, observation was taken at 13:48 in the afternoon with temperatures of 53.1 to 54.8 degrees Fahrenheit, 11.7 to 12.7 degrees Celsius. The maximum temperature within the last 24 hours was around 57 degrees Fahrenheit and a minimum temperature of 27 to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. There was a barometric pressure reading of 1008.5 millibars, a drastic drop from the night before. Winds were on a 3 on the Beaufort scale, with evidence of small trees, small plants, and leaves moving in the wind. The winds were coming in from the east at about 130 degrees and was followed by some cloud coverage that was pretty high and streaky, almost non-visible, and again, no precipitation was recorded for the time of my observation. On my third day of observation, the time was at 12:41 p.m. and the current temperature was 42 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius, with a maximum for the last 24 hours of 57 to 58 degrees Fahrenheit, with a minimum being 26 degrees Fahrenheit. 3/4 of the sky was covered in low-lying, white to gray fluffy clouds that were being pushed by the winds that were coming in from the south at about 195 degrees. The clouds brought no precipitation, while the winds were again a 3, with some smaller plants and leaves moving, and the barometric pressure outside was 1,010 millibars. September 14th brought in temperatures of 49 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 9 to 10 degrees Celsius at around 14:42 p.m. with the maximum and minimum temperatures at 50 degrees Fahrenheit and 49 degrees Fahrenheit for the last 24 hours. Now, this was the day that I wasn't able to get to my observation station until later in the day and had missed the original reset time that happened Sunday night. Because of this, the minimums and maximum temperatures are the exact same temperatures I had for that day, which is what messes up my graph. The pressure from that day was reading at 1,011 millibars, and the winds were at a Beaufort scale of 5 and coming strongly again from about 195 degrees south. The sky was completely covered with low and streaky stretched out clouds with no precipitation. On the last day of observation, which was September 15, 2012, at 11:45 a.m., the sky was fully covered with white to light gray low-lying clouds, and the temperatures were 45 to 47 degrees Fahrenheit, 7 to 8 degrees Celsius, with barometric pressures of 1,011 millibars. The maximum and minimum for day 5 were at 51 degrees Fahrenheit and 33 degrees Fahrenheit. At the time of observation, there was no winds and no precipitation. All week long there was no precipitation, but I did notice that there was plenty of frost, drizzle, and full-on rain at any other time of the day. As you can tell, a lot of my maximum and minimums for the week did follow the National Weather Service's forecast for the majority of the time, staying within a couple of degrees throughout the week. As you can see on my day 4, this is my mess up day and was not able to get to my observation day or observation station until later in the day, and that's why it was messed up. The evidence is that the maximum and minimum readings for my 4th day are actually the same as the current temperatures. It also seems like my 5th day of observation is also off when it comes to the maximums, and I think that's because of the time of day that I had taken my observations. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if my barometric pressure readings were 100% correct. However, it did match up pretty well in the beginning, reading that drastic drop from day 1 to day 2, and then that slight rise to day 3 and the constant leveling out that it did for the rest of the week. My reading seemed to be a little bit off, but does follow the same patterns as the National Weather Service's pattern as well. Next, I'm going to go over some TV weather maps for the week of September 10th to September 16th, 2012. At the end, I will also be going over some GOES satellite images for the day of September 10th, 2012. On Monday, September 10th, 2012, it looks like there's quite the cloud cover coming in from the northwest surrounding the interior of Alaska, leaving a nice section of clear skies heading towards Anchorage, Valdez, and Seward. There also is a low pressure system with a reading of 1008 millibars that is found in the Gulf of Alaska near the border of Canada that affects the southern parts of Alaska. But we see that the high pressure system that sits over Russia is what making the impact of high pressure in the parts of interior of Alaska with a reading of 1018 millibars. Tuesday, September 11th, 2012 follows what I observed at my station with little cloud coverage over the interior of Alaska, followed by much cloud coverage to the north and south. There seems a low pressure system near the beginning of the Alaskan Peninsula is affecting the interior of Alaska with a reading of 1003 millibars. This low pressure system is sitting behind an occlude front that is also making its way through the interior of Alaska. With the low pressure system and the occlude front, rain and rain showers are affecting the Aleutian Chain and southwest corner of Alaska, as well as some of the interior. Connected to the occlude front is a cold front coming from the south and moving to the east, with a warm front found in the Gulf that is moving towards the northeast and into Juneau area. September 12th brings more cloud coverage again in the north and southern parts of Alaska and flows all the way down the Aleutian Chain. We also see again is the little bit of clarity in some small clouds that hover over the interior of Alaska, which again is constant with the observations that I had made. We also see several low pressure systems that moved in closer to the interior of Alaska, which explains the drop in pressure from Tuesday to Wednesday. We again see that cold front coming in from the south and moving west, followed by the occlude hook still moving north and northeast. Both fronts and the low pressure systems are pushing rain, fog, and showers up into the interior and towards Canada. Over in the Bering Sea at the end of the Aleutian Chain, we see an occlude front making its way east with low pressure systems sitting towards the tip of the front having a reading of 1000 millibars. They also are pushing fog and rain into the east along the Aleutian Chain. Thursday, the 13th, shows lots of cloud cover all over Alaska, parts of Russia, and down towards the Pacific with small amounts of clarity throughout Alaska. That same cold front is still making its way east and is still accompanied by a low pressure system that is reading 1000 millibars. Off that cold front is a warm front making its way into the northwest. There's another cold front that's coming in from the Pacific, hovering over some of the Aleutian Chain, which is making its way southward and is also accompanied by another low pressure system reading of 1002 millibars. Both sets of fronts are surrounded by rainstorms and thick sections of clouds. Another low pressure system is sitting in the southern parts of Alaska near Valdez with a reading of 1008 millibars. This pressure reading is affecting the interior of Alaska and is constant with my barometric reading. In the Bering Sea towards the west of Alaska, we see another cold front followed by a low pressure system and a warm front. The cold front is heading into the east while the warm front is making its way to the northwest. The low pressure system has a reading of 1002 millibars. Friday brings us full coverage of clouds with sporadic spots of clear skies. We see that one of the cold fronts from the previous day is still making its way westward and is still accompanied by that low pressure system with a reading of 1004 millibars. To the west of the cold front is an occlude front that kind of hooks at the top, making it head not only to the southeast but to the northeast and into the interior of Alaska. At the tip of the occlude front, we see another low pressure system that reads of 1002 millibars. Along with these two fronts, we see plenty of cloud cover and rain showers. Following the rain showers north, we run into a high pressure system reading of 1010 millibars, which is constant with my barometric reading for Friday. This high pressure system seems to be bringing in snow along with some rain showers. Saturday's forecast brings us lots of gray cloud coverage all over the state of Alaska and parts of Canada, which match up with the complete cloud coverage I observed that day. We see that the cold front once again coming from the south, making its way west, but this time it breaks off into an occlude front that hooks again to the west over the southwestern corner of Alaska, but is pushing into the north, and then a warm front located over the Gulf is pushing into the northeast and towards Canada. All three fronts are again accompanied by a low concentrated, low pressure system reading 975 millibars, which also brings in plenty of rain or the promise of rain in the southern and interior regions of Alaska, heading all the way into northern Alaska. This low pressure system is affecting the interior of Alaska, however my reading happens to be a little bit off for Saturday. We can see to the east over in Canada that there are two high pressure systems that have brought clear skies to those areas. They read from 1027 millibars to 1030 millibars. Not sure if the Aleutian chain is lucky, but at the tip of the chain sits a cold front that breaks off into both an occlude front and a warm front, both heading into the east and back into the chain. With these fronts come rain and possibility of rain. On our last day, September 16th, we see lots of cloud coverage all over Alaska, which continues over the Bering Sea and into Russia, but stops partial way into Canada and down by Juneau. The lucky southern area of Alaska, located right behind an occlude front and near a concentrated low pressure system of 969 millibars, gets a nice bit of clear skies, but I'm pretty sure that didn't last. The low pressure system spreads out and makes its way into the interior, which is constant with the National Weather Service reading, but not much my own, where I was a little bit off. Right next to the door to the west of the low pressure system, there's a nice bit of rain and snow with fog moving in. The occlude front right next to the clear patch of skies is making its way to the south to the northeast and breaks off into the warm front found over the Gulf of Alaska near Anchorage, Stewart, and Valdez. Meeting up from the south and connecting with the occlude front comes a cold front that is trying to make its way to the east. Again, we see that couple of high pressure systems over by Juneau and further down in the Gulf, bringing clear skies for those regions. They are reading at 1029 millibars and 1030 millibars. Again, at the tip of the Aleutian chain, we see that same trio of fronts still making its way eastward, pushing forward the fog and rain up the chain. Here, on my final screen, I have a screenshot of September 10th's TV weather map and the GOES images for that same day. We have an infrared satellite image taken at 10 a.m. that morning, a visible satellite image taken at 9 a.m., and a water vapor satellite image taken at 10 a.m. As you can see in the infrared satellite image, the cloud formation match up with the TV weather image, with black areas showing in the clear skies over the Gulf of Alaska, and the light gray to black over the interior Alaska showing again clear skies. The cloud formation that forms over the Bering Sea is constant with the low pressure system and the occlude front that hooks around and makes the beginning of the spiral shape in the Bering Sea. We can also continue to see the partial clear skies that fall over Canada again with the black areas in the infrared image. In the visible satellite image, we again see that there are plenty of cloud cover all over Alaska, with again a little bit of clear skies in the Gulf of Alaska and up into the interior. You can start to see that the hook of the occlude front in the southwest part of Alaska at the beginning of the Aleutian chain. And following into the water vapor image, we again see it matches up with the TV weather map. You can see that the water vapor matches up with the cloud formations all over Alaska and into Canada, and matches with the rain and fog in those areas. Again, you see that hook of the occlude front swinging in from the Bering Sea in Russia, coming in over the southwest of Alaska, traveling with all the precipitation that the low pressure system brings. And as you can see how there is very little water vapor of the Gulf of Alaska and the Bering Sea in between the low and high pressure systems.